Welcome back, guys. This is Jason, KM4ACK. Today, let's talk about 7 stupid things that every ham radio operator needs. Stick around, and we'll get right to it. Real quick, before we get going today, I've got to give a shout out to these guys. They're my latest patrons over on Patreon. If you'd like to help support the channel, I'll leave a link to Patreon down in the description below. So why do I call this 7 stupid things? Well, they're not stupid at all. They just don't produce that same endorphin rush as opening up a brand new radio. However, you'll find each of these tools valuable in your shack. So let's take a look at these 7 items, and I even have a bonus for you at the end. The first item to make my list is power pole crimpers. I just couldn't live without these guys in my shack on a day-to-day basis. Well, almost every day anyway. It seems like I am forever making up various cables for various radios and needing to attach power poles to them. You can't go wrong by having a set of power pole crimpers in your shack. When you do buy your power poles, be sure you get genuine Anderson power poles. You'll see a marked difference in the quality over their Chinese counterparts. Coax adapters are one of those things that you just can't live without. As you get further and further into this hobby, you will definitely find a need to have these on hand. Whether you need to take an HT from an SMA style connector up to SO239, or you need a barrel connector to connect 2 pieces of coax together, you're always going to find a need for these coax adapters. Now, they do offer various kits over on Amazon that'll kind of let you buy once and have several different types that you may need, or you can piecemeal them together over time. I would recommend buying 2 or 3 of each type of connector, even when you only need one of them. At some point, you're going to find that you need the other 1 or 2 that you bought extra, whether you've lost yours or already put it in one of your kits and don't want to keep replacing it every single time you head out. Coming in at number 3 is extended antennas for your HTs. I love these by Signal Stuff. They can be bent back on themselves, kind of tied in a knot for easy storage, and they are just an all-around fantastic antenna. They make these in SMA male, SMA female, and also BNC style connectors. I've gone with the BNC as I've adapted all of my HTs to accept the BNC antenna. Now, this next item on the list is probably one of my more recent purchases, and I went several years without owning a set of these. But again, the deeper you go into the hobby, the more you may find yourself in need of these. And that's the Klein Tools coax crimpers. When it comes to making up short little random pieces of coax for various projects, you'll find these guys invaluable. Now, you do have to buy these. You have to buy the crimper as one piece, and then you have to buy the jaws as a separate piece. I'll leave links to both of those down in the description below. Number 5 here is kind of 2 parts. First is the What's Up meter. These are absolutely invaluable when you're working with lithium iron phosphate batteries. It's near impossible to tell the state of charge from lithium iron phosphate batteries by just taking a voltage reading. You really need something like the What's Up meter so that you can know how many amps you've pulled out of that particular battery, or if you're charging it, how many amps you've put back into that particular battery. To go along with that, I've got another device here. It's a USB power meter. So this plugs up in line. You'll plug this in into your source and then plug the device that you're powering into the other end, and it'll give you some great information about how much voltage and how much current you're consuming from that device. So the 2 of these together are really useful to have around, especially when you're trying to calculate things like battery run times for a specific device. Antenna wire is another really useful thing to have on hand. I try to always keep a bit on hand just so I can have some if I want to build a quick dipole antenna or maybe a quick 49-to-1 antenna. So whether you pick it up at your local Home Depot, maybe off of Amazon, or even out of my web store, antenna wire is just a good thing to have on hand. Number 7 is something that I pick up for almost every single radio I own, and that is the Nifty manual. These are fantastic quick reference guides when you need to look something up for your radio. Just this past weekend, I needed to write a repeater to memory on an HT that I don't use that often, and I was able to quickly find that information in the Nifty manual. So it's always nice to have full-blown manuals, and I keep those on SD cards on my various Raspberry Pis, but I love having these manuals in the bag with the radio just when I need that quick reference guide and don't need to boot up the Raspberry Pi to dig out a full radio manual. Now, for the bonus device, you can spend as little or as much money as you want to, but you definitely need one of these in your shack, and that is an electrical meter. You will find yourself using this for all kinds of projects, whether you need to check continuity on an antenna kit that you're assembling, or whether you just need to check if a battery has voltage on it or not. These guys are invaluable when it comes to troubleshooting. So there you have it, guys. That's the 8 things that aren't always the sexiest items to buy, but they're definitely useful in the shack. If you found this information helpful, be sure to give us a thumbs up before you head off. We will see you guys on the next one. Until then, 7-3.